Okay, these bolts are out. Moving to the bracket here. Get your tensioner off of here, 15 mil. And for those of you that watch my channel, you do know when I say 15 millimeter, that is the socket size. That is not meant to be a bolt size. This is also catered as a how-to video, not a teaching video. I share some stuff, but that's the extent of that. I'm trying to think if I bitched about it yet or not. I think I may have. I like this one here. It's a 3/8 drive. It's got it's a light duty ratchet. It's got a little head on it. I bought the extended version, the long one, and I think I might have said this in a previous video. This is a 3/8 drive. The biggest bitch I got about it: why did you make it so big? This is too big, as far as I'm concerned. Look at the friggin' difference in these heads. For instance, it'd have been nice to be able to stick this one down here and take this bolt off, but it wouldn't have taken the bolt off because the heads would have bottomed on the frame. So, useless. Not useless, I didn't mean it like that, but useless for some of these applications that they could be used on. Okay, and here's something I don't like to do. I'm gonna pause the camera up again. I'm gonna have to put a little bit of oil dry on. Also, once again, 70 some odd degrees outside, and it's late, obviously. Well, not late, but obviously nighttime, and next week it's supposed to be colder than the welding bottom. That top bolt on the alternator, that is a wrench only. What I mean by that, you can't get it with a socket. You have to have a ratchet wrench. Or not a ratchet wrench, you have to have a wrench nonetheless. If you have a wrench, that is. For some reason, I can't seem to find mine. This is real life, one-on-one kind of stuff right here. And if you don't believe me on the front skirt, how fast that is to be removed and put back on, leave it in the comments. This is going to be a couple of parts to this video, so leave it in the comments and I'll be glad to show it to you when I put it back together. Not gonna lie, I've had several of these alternators when I changed them, that rear bolt. I've had many of them give me grief all the way out. I mean all the way out, and this one here, not doing a whole lot better. I'll pause the camera up, got a customer over here. Okay, sorry ladies and gentlemen, this friggin' impossible GTO I got over here. Well, never mind that. I did a little bit something, a couple of screws, bolts, whatever, on the valve covers, 8mm. I took the valve covers off of it. I took the, let me flip the screen. I took the alternator bolt out, obviously. Took the bracket off that is over here on the side. Those are the two studs that hold that coil. What I do with it? Right there. They hold that right there, so you know what entails, or what it entails to do that. Like I said earlier, not a big deal. None of this is a big deal, to tell you the truth. It really isn't. So we're down to that part. The valley, that's where I left off. I figured I'd go ahead and bracket. Don't forget to put this back under the lifting bracket. Don't forget to put this back under the, so that's this one here. Tensioner, bolt. Remember, that goes like that. As a matter of fact, go ahead and lay it down like that, and we may even go ahead and stick these bolts back in it. That way we know where these bolts came from. These are for the alternator. That's for the alternator here. The other bolt's still in the alternator. I'm going to go ahead and put it back over here. So a lot of times that's what I do to keep stuff together a little bit. That way I don't have to go looking for it later on. If you ever work on an Audi or something like that, you wish you would have done that anyway, because they got a ton of bolts on them. That's all I'm going to say. So I think we should be able to get the valley up now. The valley is siliconed, so it's not just going to let go. Might have to do a little bit of prying, and when I say prying, I'm not talking about prying. I'm talking about a little bit of persuasion, not going plumb nuts. Some people confuse that. Sometimes, we get comments. People think that you just muscled on something. I never muscle on stuff like that. Never. Might use a big pry bar, but that doesn't mean I want to pull on it very hard. All right, we got a couple more hose clamps over here that we got to get off. Frankly, I forgot to do that. That's my bad. There's a bolt on the bracket on the bottom. We'll go ahead and disconnect all this too. Actually, well, yeah, I'm probably going to reseal that later on. We'll take that bolt off of there. I can't remember what that is. I don't remember if that's a 10 or a 13. Not a 10. Oh, Lord, there's a plug. Coolant sensor. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't, but almost. And you know what I was going to say. Playing hard to get. Are you friggin' kidding me? Are you friggin' kidding me? This is the first plug on this whole entire project that played hard to get. That's crazy. Okay, now this is an O-ring, ladies and gentlemen. An O-ring that's going to get replaced. Oh, there's that part. There's your valley cover slash intake runners. Now looking at the cam. That is not looking bad at all. And by the way, I just spent over an hour on this stupid GTO trying to put keys in that vehicle, and haven't done nothing in that time, so it's about time to knock off, and I'm going to knock off for this evening. Now the only thing that remains is, I think we've been through this before, I've got to go on the backside now. We lubricated, if you remember that, we lubricated the bolts on the flange, on the exhaust flange over there. I got to get this apart, and then I got to undo these 3 bolts here and the 3 bolts here for the piece that goes across, and that will be the end of that. I'm not, well, there is actually one part that I'm not going to film. These don't look that bad. We can have a quick look and see. Quite frankly, they really don't look that bad. As a matter of fact, I just said that, and then I seen something. I've noticed something. I'm surprised it didn't break, but you've seen me not ratchet a whole lot here. Let me see if we can get you a shot of that, and I think we can. That nut right there wasn't even tight. I mean, I've only ratcheted like a couple of clicks now, so that wasn't even tightened up. I wouldn't be surprised to actually find more like that, but I was thinking that it's going to actually break as soon as I yank on it, but it actually didn't. Obviously, I did get a couple of turns on it, so it is coming off. It was a little stuck. Now these can be a little bit tricky to do when you do that later in the game, when you got everything together and you try to put that pipe on. That can be a little bit tricky. And my favorite thing to do is go ahead and put it right back on. Not a problem with the front. Let's go one more just to see. Not a problem there. There's another one. Well, let's see. Let's just try it. I want to see. Let's just see if there's enough room. So, and I'm going to prove a point to you. I sprayed what is believed to be pretty good penetrant on this. Well, it's been almost 2 hours now that I sprayed that on. It's dry. It's 100%. That stud is 100% dry. My point here being none of that crap really works. That just there to make you feel better. It does, however, make it easier to come off the rest of the white. So that's success number 2 with this ratchet head. That's good. I like to see that. If you take both tops, I'm going to flip the screen. If you take both top bolts loose on either side, that automatically loosens the bottom. I mean, not the nut, but it loosens the flange because the flange will kick over, and that loosens that part of it up. That should theoretically make it easier for you to get the last nut off of there. I forget if that was a 6 or 8 inch extension. I can't remember. The back, we can reach in. Once again, I don't got no We can reach in like this. Hopefully you can see this. We can reach in like that. That's the first nut you're going to tighten up after you straighten the flanges by putting the nuts on the tops, and then go ahead and tighten that up and then tighten the tops, and that in turn will also make the bottom a little bit tighter. Of course, you knew I was going to say that. And now, with that being said, this here is too long. I erred. It should have been a shorter extension. I can't remember this one here. I knew on the other one, but this one here I can't remember. Okay, so it would seem that one of them is going to break. That one's going to break off, so we'll have to get one of them ordered. And now, I am surprised that, wow, I'm puzzled. That just normally doesn't happen like that. Must have been the penetrant. No, not really. My mind is blown. I can't believe they all came off without breaking. Don't get me wrong, I've had them before where they come off perfectly fine. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of times they'll end up breaking on you, so see if we can wiggle that or tap on that flange a little bit to get that to come loose. There we go. Now we're talking. There we go. Get a little bit of movement in it. There's that bolt. I've been looking for that bolt that we dropped earlier. Now we should be able to. Yeah. That's a little bypass here. Well, not bypass. I keep saying bypass. I don't like to say bypass. Wrap around. Whatever. Whatever you want to call it. So. I said, yeah, I'm going to knock off for the day. Yeah, right. You're right. So now we ended up doing that. I'm not really going to go into a debate on this. I'm just going to tell you what I'm not going to do. And I know there's going to be some people screaming, oh, you got to mark that. You got to put them back where they came from. Well, let me tell you something. A rebuilder, engine rebuilders, they don't mark nothing because they all go in a basket. But what this boils down to, and I wasn't trying to be a smart aleck on that, but the rockers, these lifters, guys, you put them where they came from. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. We'll check them. I will QC all of the rockers, the lifters. I'm going to look at the faces of the rockers. I'm going to look at the tops of the valves to make sure they are nice and smooth. I have tools here to smoothen them up. So, not a big deal. It is not a big deal. If it makes you feel better, the way to do it is get a piece of cardboard, mark the cardboard, put some holes in it, whatever you want to do there, to set it up on a box, basically. Set it up like that, mark them where they come from, if that's what you want to do. And here I am debating on it. We're done talking. Anyway, I'm knocking off for the night. Next stop is the head bolts. We want to yank them off of there. Of course, after we put the rockers away, get them cleaning. So I'm gonna turn the camera off. My measuring cup here. I'll pop the bolts out of the valve covers. These are ready for the washer. I'll spit that out. I'm going to remove the injectors. We're going to have to be careful with the injectors now. Now that's... I've broke them before, truth to be known. That I did, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it should go without saying. I'm going to put these bolts in the same pocket right there or whatever. Should go without saying that when you using something, a washer or something like that, you submerging, don't put the injectors in there and the wires. Now, this is going to take me some time to get these wiggled loose. I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera up. No need me showing that part. I'm going to bring you back up here. These are so locked in. I would not be surprised if I wouldn't have to replace the injectors on this thing. I mean, the thing got come out, I mean, we got to clean this up. No way around that. These things are locked in so tight. It's been a long time since I've seen something like that. Generally, they are a little bit fussy sometimes to get out, but that one here is something entirely different. I got to clean them up, and hopefully we didn't damage any of them. If we did, well, we'll just have to put a set of injectors in it. That's just part of it. This piece here is going to have to be cleaned. I'm not going to put that together as is. As you can see right there, it's pretty nasty. I dumped a bunch of it out in the garbage can already. So, get the gasket off of here, of course. Get the silicone off. The rest of it really doesn't look that bad. Carboned up pretty bad over here. On this side here, that side was running rough. Well, not running rough, was getting rough. What I meant to say, it's got a lot of carbon buildup in it, so anyway, that one is ready. It is important to know, I don't know if this one here can be reversed. Yeah, it can be reversed, I think. I think it can be done. So yeah, so kind of pay attention which way that goes. They don't work real good when you put them in there backwards. We'll go ahead and pause the camera back up. Guess I'll show you one more thing. Not all harnesses still have that on there. Lucky on this one here, because I randomly done pulled injectors now. We do have the cylinder numbers. We got green and yellow. We got 2, 4, and 6. And then we got 1, 3, and 5 on the yellow. So that'll help us. So I can unplug them, clean them up, do what I got to do, and I still know how the harness is going to go back on it. So that's important there too. Keep that in mind. If you don't have those tags, I don't know that I got a roll. Anyway, I'm not gonna try to look for it. But electricians or electrical stores, they have number tapes sometimes that you can buy. I use them frequently, so there you go. Okay, back to this right here. I still got to go underneath the other side to get the exhaust off of it. Never mind that. Before you put the rocker assemblies back on, make sure your gaskets go in. Very important step, because you will not be able to get the gasket in. You have to break the gaskets, and I'm not about to do that. 8mm. What that do is, I've done loosened some of them. I figured I'd turn the camera on and kind of tell you that. Keep an eye on that. These get torqued. Kind of goes without saying when you're doing this, clean Keep it all clean. Make sure that ain't nothing falling down in the cam area and all that good stuff. Try to lift up straight on everything. Once all that is removed, we're going to put something in that valley, and then we can clean the deck. Anyway, we'll go ahead, or I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera up, get all these parts laid off to the side, and concentrate on the head bolts. Of course, the front bank right there, very easily done with the impact. I yanked the whole entire thing off of it. I don't even bother to pull the dipstick. I generally yank that out with it, which I did in this case right here. Like you see, right there's the head. I've undid the exhaust manifold, put it over here in the floor. I know that's the front. Put the wires with it, pull the plugs. Plugs are horrible too, but that's neither here nor there. I'll leave the bracket on this one here, know which head it is right off the bat. I said get that prepped up. There's no need in doing any kind of work to the bottom yet. What has been leaking? Do I care about that? It looks like over here in this area, because it goes straight into the water chamber. Can you see me? Yeah, you can see me. Because that's all clean, I don't really care. That's really beside the point. I know it was leaking, doesn't matter. I don't know to what extent we can see that, but you see all the crowd over here, that O-ring's gone, it'll have to be replaced. I mean, some of these things, you know, you just got to do. Something like that right there, if you're trying to do it for somebody else, I guess I could give you a little bit of heads up on that. Something like that is generally difficult to quote because there's always those odd and end items that you really cannot foresee. So kind of keep that in mind. Well, obviously the rear, not quite as simple. Still easy, just not as easy. I don't know if I mentioned this, one more thing to kind of remember. The rear head, you've noticed how I left all the plugs and all that good stuff, the wires, I left all that in there. The rear head, I'm going to put them back before I even go back in with it, probably, I would say. I don't have to mess with it trying to get them on back here. You want to save yourself some money? The way that's done, you find out what your thread pitch is, and if you got some good eyes, you can hold a caliper on the threads and just measure over a certain distance and figure out how many threads, or figure out your distance and see if the thread actually aligns over that distance. The best I know to explain it to you, I mean, you can get a thread gauge, you know, to see that the bolts are not stretched. Main thing is you don't want these bolts to be stretched. I highly doubt they are, but either way, they're going to get replaced. I don't care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make this my part 2. Stay tuned for part 3. Should be coming up shortly.